Letters from the Frontline, a love story that time could never destroy. Summer, 1941. He was a young soldier, Rick. She was a nurse, Maria. They met in a small, peaceful town that still smelled of sunlight and laughter. He dreamed of building a house by the river. She promised she would wait for him, no matter how long it took. Their hands touched. Their hearts spoke the same quiet language, hope. But peace doesn't last forever. The war came like a storm. At the train station, the air was filled with steam and voices. Maria stood in the crowd, clutching a small envelope with his name written on it. Rick smiled through the chaos, trying to memorize her face. He hugged her tightly and whispered, "They'll come back. I promise." The train began to move. She stood there until the smoke disappeared and silence swallowed the station. The letters kept them alive. He wrote from the front, about cold nights, muddy trenches, and the faces of the friends had lost. But between every line, there was only one name, Maria. She wrote about the hospital, about the wounded, about the candle she lit every evening by the window. Her letters smelled like home. His letters, like smoke and rain. And between them burned a love stronger than distance, stronger than war. Weeks passed, then months. The letters stopped coming. Sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, nothing. She waited. She prayed. She held his photograph close to her chest, trying to remember the shape of his smile. One day, a letter arrived. No return address, no signature. It said, "If I don't come back, live, love, dream. You are my heart, wherever I am." After that, there was silence. Winter came. The hospital was overflowing. One day, they brought in a soldier, unconscious, barely breathing. Maria bent over him to check his pulse, and then she heard it. A whisper. Maria, she froze. It was him, Rick. He survived. They were together again, for a moment that felt like forever. But the war wasn't done with him yet. He recovered and was sent back to the front lines. She cried. He smiled and said, "If not me, then who? We have to finish what we started." The last time she saw him was at the station, the same place where they said goodbye before. The train pulled away. He stood at the door, waving, and shouted, "They'll come back, Maria." But he never did. The war ended, but Maria kept waiting. Every evening, she lit that same candle by the window. Years passed. The world changed, but she never stopped waiting. One day, in her old age, a letter arrived. It had been found in a military archive. On the envelope, it said, "Rick Wilson." The letter was dated the last month of the war. It read, "I'm coming home. I'm alive. We'll be together soon." She smiled for the first time in years. The candle was still burning when the morning came. They found her sitting by the window, the letter in her hands, and peace on her face. Decades passed. Mariah's old house still stood, forgotten, surrounded by overgrown grass. One afternoon, a young man arrived. Her grandson, Edward, had never known much about her life. To him, she had always been just a photograph in a frame. Inside, the air smelled of dust and time. He looked around, and under the bed, he found a small wooden box. Inside, dozens of old letters, all from the same man. He sat down on the floor, opened one, and a faded photograph slipped out. A young soldier and a girl in a white dress. On the back, in neat handwriting, "For Maria, so you'll never forget how I smile." He began to read, and suddenly, through the paper, he could almost hear a voice, Rick's voice. "Maria, I'm alive. You're my prayer. You're my home. If fate allows, they'll knock on your door again. If not, they'll still be there. They'll just love you from a place where there's no war." Tears filled Edward's eyes. He realized they had found each other, after all. Not in this world, but somewhere beyond time, where love never fades. He placed the letters back in the box, lit a candle, and sat on the windowsill. The soft light filled the room, and for a brief moment, in the reflection of the window, he saw them. Maria and Rick, young, alive, smiling. They looked at each other, then at him, and slowly they faded into the sunlight. Love never dies. It lives in memories, in words, in the hearts of those who remember. Real love fears neither time nor war. It just waits for someone to light the candle again and whisper their story out loud.